Hi everyone, here is Group 7 to give out the final project presentation. Our team members are Peilin, Sijing, and Zeyi. Our project topic is My Anime List, Anime and User Analysis. Here's our agenda. We will go over introduction, data preprocessing, elaborate data analysis, analytic questions, and then on with a summary. Here comes to the introduction section. My Anime Release Net is one of the world's largest anime and manga database community. It allows users to create their own list of anime and share ideas. As one of those who are interested in anime, we conduct this project with the initial aim of existing animation studios to identify seasonal trends of the anime market, understand loyal users' watching and rating behaviors, and conduct wide strategy to expand their market shares. We mainly work on the web scraping data from Watching Challenge 2015 to 2018 formula strat on My Anime List Net, which is half prepared by as a source. We are working on 3 structured datasets: anime, user, and anime list, which contain information about anime features, user information, and user customized anime list details. Next, we would like to walk you through the data preprocessing. We will demonstrate how we process our raw data from a high-level point of view and only show our processing logic and the outcome. Firstly, we explore datasets and format the data type. We mainly transfer integer to string and transfer string to datetime. Secondly, we examine extreme values. For 0 values, we keep those dummy values, and for non-dummy variables, we replace or drop records after we're done with the cross-examination and research. Same logic here for extremely large value. We keep those technically make sense and trim else by setting an upper limit. Thirdly, we examine and handle missing values. We keep those values are intended to left blank and make 2 approach to fill out those missing values, manually update or replace with value from the same categories. Drop is always our very last choice since we want to maintain the data variance as much as possible. Lastly, we implement classification on categorical variables. We extract year, month from data object, classify season based on month. Then we combine subtype into a parent type in order to organize the outcome of summarized table or visualization. Here is the resulting shape for the 3 clean datasets. Now, let's move on to the EDA section to help you better understand some important features in the dataset. TV series is the main anime type and manga is the main anime source. The overall score distribution is within the range of 6 to 8. As for the anime genre, comedy has a domain popularity. Besides, there are some genres with relatively low popularity like Cars, Samurai, and Police. We will demonstrate the analysis on the popularity comparison later on. Here, we only sort and display the top 20 studios that produce most anime works in total. According to the bar plots, Toei Animation released the most creations. Here's a couple of great works that produced by Toei Animation, like Dragon Ball and One Piece. Now, with the general understanding of the dataset, we design 3 analytic questions to explore and analyze interesting patterns, then generate conclusions based on the findings. The question 1 is, are there any anime features correlated to certain months or seasons? If so, what are those patterns? What are the common combination of anime genre? Do the combinations vary across premium seasons? Here's the line plot shows the number of animes across years. The otaku subculture has expanded its effort around late 1980s and boost in the 2000s. Here is the heat map show the annual trend of the anime genre for 1980 to 2018. It's not surprised to find out that the comedy is the hottest genre over the last 30 years, followed by action and adventure. These two bar plots display the number of anime by release season and months. There are more anime released in April, July, and October. This summary table describes the top 10 anime genre overall and the seasonal trend count in actual number. Hottest trends like comedy and action, they do not have specific seasonal variants. Their popularity are always. Here is the heat map showing the seasonal trend of each anime genre. Each cell represents the number of anime per genre per season divided by the genre subtotal. According to the heat map, more animes, regardless of genre, mostly released during summer and winter. However, as for the five least popular genre like cars, games, martial arts, police, samurai, they have significant seasonal variance. They tend to only focus on one season or target as spring or autumn. In this slide, we subtract those five least popular genre season count together with their average score to analyze how do the audience responds. The more red shows there are more anime released in that season and more blue shows the less. Overall, this unpopular genre performed very well with an average score around 7. Although Cars focusing on spring releasing, the response is not so good as those released in summer. Although Police and Samurai, they focusing on the summer releasing market, there are potential good response in autumn and winter. For each anime, there are multiple genre tags in a single genre columns. Therefore, we generate a diagram using ALTK package to explore the most common anime genre combination over seasons. More frequent of the genre pairs, higher the diagram score, thus give out a higher rank. In general, comedy is the panacea since it's the major genre overall. There are also a couple of popular genre combinations for specific seasons, such as adventure and fantasy in spring, comedy action in autumn and winter.
In this part, I will analyze the user's watching and rating preference vary by gender. Next. First, for watching behavior, I group the user's day spent watching by gender, and we can see here for male, they spend more days watching animes than female did. Next. And then I also group watching days by anime source as well as gender. We can take a look at the chart. For both female and male, the highest column is a blue one, which is game. So we can conclude that for both female and male, they prefer to spend more watching days in game adoption animes. So maybe this kind of anime has really great potential market because people are really interested in that. Next. For rating behavior, I use my scores and group it by gender. My score is a column of scores that user gave to each anime. I also set a score range. For example, when score is larger or equal than 9 is in the very high level. I graph those high level, this level, score range level as well as the female and male. So we can see here for female and male, the highest column is a red one, which is a high level. So most user prefer to rate like 7 or 8 for animes. When compare those two genres, we can take a look at purple one. 34% of females prefer to rate very high, and while the 30% of male prefer to rate very high. We can conclude that female is more possible to rate very high. Next. Since we got scored and gender, I list the top 10 scored animes named based on the genders. The left one is a top 10 for female and the right one is top 10 for male. Next. Then I extract the genres names of those top 10. The upper one is for female. For female, the comedy, kiss, and action genre is very popular. For male, the comedy, actions, science fiction, drama, supernatural, historical, shonen are very popular. Those genres name are shown in the top 10 for 3 times or more than 3 times. For both of those two gender, comedy and actions are always very popular. Next.
In this step, we mainly conduct research on this question. What's the difference between animes with both high score and high popularity, and those animes with high score but relatively low popularity? Why high score but low popularity situation exists? Next. Here, we listed top 6 high score with high popularity animes. Next. For those animes, the genre are mainly drama, action, comedy, supernatural, and shonen. Next. For the score box plot, we can see that above 8.5 are outliers, which means those animes have extremely high score. Next. So we can explore what features of those high quality animes have. The first feature is that Madhouse, Sunrise, Artland are the main firms to produce high-quality animes, and the major type of those animes are TV serials. Next. The next feature is that 2006 is the year of high-score animation production. For example, the Death Note, Code Geass, and Gintama are made from this year. Next. These are the general features of the high-quality animes. The average episode of those animes are 23, and the average duration minutes of each episode is 40 minutes. Next. Then we can look at the animes that have high score but relatively low popularity. For the popularity box plot, above 600 are outliers, which means those animes have high score but relatively low popularity. Next. The first features of those animes that the episode have very wide distribution. Next. For those animes that have extremely low episodes, for example, just one episode, these are major movie animation. Next. The next features are that some of them they are very old anime and belong to old genre. For example, these two animes are released from 1988, and the genre is belong to military, which is not popular right now. Next. The last feature of those animes that 6 animes are second season. For those people who love to watch second season of anime, most users are fans for the first season of that anime. It is harder to attract new audience for the second season than a brand new anime. Next.
So now we can make some conclusions here. Next. First, the hottest is always. Animes of the hottest genre like comedy, adventure, and actions, they do not have significant seasonal variance. They are always popular in the 4 seasons. And second, for those unpopular genres like cars, police, samurai, we have some suggestions about those release time. For example, for police and anime, we suggest it to be released in autumn. And third, based on our user preference, animes adapted from game have really great potential. And third, the last one is anime score and popularity are highly positive correlated in normal, but for some exceptions, high score but low popularity, they are likely to be anime movie or the military animes or second season animes. Next. We also have some limitations need to be clarified. First, the dataset did not cover anime release starting from the late 2018 till now, so it may fail to catch the trend of the recent 2 years. And second, we ignore some correlated factors that may affect the anime scores or users' behavior simultaneously. Next. Here is our work distribution. and our reference. Thank you for your listening, and we are open for any questions.